Alright, in front of me is a Continental GP 5000 tubeless ready road tire. This one's 28C or 28 millimeters wide, and I've been a big fan of the Continental GP 4000 S2 tires. I'm also a big fan of tubeless tires, so when Continental came out with this GP 5000 tubeless tire, I thought I'd get one to try it out. So if you're not familiar with the 5000 series, it did replace the 4000 S2 tires, and also they are measured the width on a larger inner diameter rim. So I think they measured the rim width of 19 millimeters and measured the tire width on that. So 28 millimeter should be 28 millimeter external width on a 19 millimeter internal rim. Now for the GP 4000 S2s, if they said 28 millimeter, that was measured on a 15 millimeter internal rim, I believe. So when you go from a 15 millimeter internal rim and then you go out to 19 millimeters, that's 4 more millimeters internally. You're stretching the bottom or the bead of the rim. And I believe I read somewhere that said for every millimeter you go wider in rim from 15 millimeters, you expand the external width of the tire by 4/10 of a millimeter. So basically that's just saying that it's about 1.4 millimeters wider, the GP 4000 tires, than the 5000 series. Now this is the tubeless version, and I'm not sure if that's the same or not, but I did go with 28 millimeters. And let's go take a look here at the bead. Now, a wheel rim manufacturer has stated that these 5000 tubeless ready tires are not compatible with their hookless bead rims. Now, the hookless bead rims means the rims are just straight vertical and they don't have a little lip on the outside where this tire could latch onto. So if I bend it down a little bit like this, you could see that there's a little bead that hooks onto the side of the rim. They're not just flat. This bead is very pronounced. And as you saw earlier, this is my very first look. I just took it out. It does say 28 by 622 millimeters. It does have a rotational direction, so make sure when you install it, you know the direction to install it. And here on the tire, there's a maximum inflation, between, I believe, there's no between, it's 6.5 bars, which is 94 psi. I'm going to go quite a bit lower than that. I weigh about 150 pounds, and I'm going to put it on a wider internal rim, so I'm thinking less than 80 psi. These tires are made in Germany, and here's where even Continental, the manufacturer, says mount only on hooked rims. So the rims, like newer mountain bike rims that do not have hooked rims, they don't have that little lip on it. On the rim, they don't have a little lip here holding on. They're just straight. Those are not allowed, or they do not want you to mount these tires on those rims. Also, I'm not sure what this 2719 is, or this other number 250883. Again, it does say tubeless tire. It doesn't say tubeless ready. So I guess if this does fit a UST standard or certain ISO standards, you may be able to use this tire without sealant at all. However, I don't want to take any chances and be the first person to ride a tubeless tire without sealant in it and flat on a ride and have all my friends look at me like, why didn't you put sealant in there? So I'll look at the manufacturer specs and see if there's any sealant that they do recommend. So on the Continental website, it shows that it's this black chili compound vectrin breaker for this tire. And also if you look down at its specs, this black chili is in this orange right here, and it shows more grip, more speed, and not so much mileage. So I decided to sacrifice a little bit of mileage, wear and tear, in order to get more grip and more speed. Number one being the most grip, probably the safest for descents, and braking. Now this tire by itself was about $60 shipped, so definitely not a cheap tire, especially when the GP4000 S2 tires you could find on sale these days for closer to $30 per tire. I decided to splurge a little bit. I really want to see what this tire is all about and try to mount it up tubeless, because I built up the rim tubeless and the wheel tubeless. Just want to see how it's going to work as a system. I've already used the zip tires, Tangente Speed tubeless tires, and I haven't gotten a flat with them, so I do enjoy the tubeless with sealant, and decided to go ahead and give these tires a shot. So if you look at the 700C sizes, I went ahead and got the 700 by 28C size, and for 27, which is 584 millimeters ETRTO, which is a 650B. They make a 650B. They should say 650B because there's also 650C, like 650 Charlie. This is 650B, like 650 Bravo. And they come with a 28 millimeter wide with 650. Oh, there's a B right here. So rather than, they should say probably 650B by 28 in my opinion. Okay, on the inside of the tire here, can't really tell or see the threads per inch. I'm not sure. I think they go multiple directions, and it should be fairly consistent. And I guess it's a little grippy. And I think all of the inside looks like this. And I'll go ahead and take a close look at this tire bead again. And see how it grips. I'm not sure how thick that is. And next I'll go look to see for some wear indicators. So indeed these tires have wear indicators. There's one here and there's one there. It's right next to this "Made in Germany" on the tire. And so if you take a look at it, you see that there's an indentation here. And when the tire wears out, you should be able to tell that if you don't see these wear indicators anymore, then it's definitely time to replace your tire. Now the side tread profile right here, this kind of reminds me of the GP4000 S2, and it's like that on both sides. It's kind of tapered, so there's one here, and one on the other side of the tire, so they're not evenly on both sides of the tire. Looks like Continental wants you to make sure other people see that you're on their tires, because on both sides of the tires it does say Continental on them. On the opposite end of the tire is this 5000 TL, and if I go to the other side of the tire, oh, from here it's slightly off. It's on right there. So it's right there. It's right here with the 5000. You turn it over and it's slightly off. There's a bunch of these little nubs, and that's probably from the manufacturing process. And I'm sure after your first ride, they're just going to kind of wear off. And there's like another one right here, as you can tell, but as you ride it, it'll probably just wear out. Alright, so let's check out the weight of the GP5000 S2. I'm going to go ahead and tear the weight of the rubber band. It's 1.1 grams, so I don't want to include that with the weight. But I do need this rubber band to go ahead and stick it on this tire and set it down to see how much this tire weighs. And it's coming out to 312.6 grams. Now that is the actual weight, since I just teared it without the tire. Let me go move it around. And yep, comes out to 312.5 grams approximately. So it is lighter if you were to get a 220 gram tire with a 60 gram tube or something. And also, people have said, or rolling resistance tests have indicated, that if you go ahead and get a GP5000 tire, non-tubeless, and you put a latex tube in there, it may roll slightly faster than this tubeless version. I'm getting this for puncture resistance also. That if I get a little thorn in there, hopefully it'll seal up. And that's why I'm going tubeless. But if you want less rolling resistance, yes, and lighter, you may be better off with a GP 5000 non-tubeless and a light tube. Checking your sealant levels every 3 to 6 months. So if you don't ride much and the bike typically just sits around the house or sits in your garage and you only take it out for a ride every few months, then I probably wouldn't recommend these tires, because then every few rides, or however often 3 to 6 months comes by, or however many rides you get in, within those 3 to 6 months, you're going to have to check sealant levels. Now if you ride several times a week or a few times a week and you need all the grip you can get and want some low rolling resistance, then these tires should suit you well. However, I do not have any road experience with these tires, as this is a first look of these Continental GP 5000 tubeless tires only. If you have any questions in the comments, feel free to leave them below. I will be using these shortly and hopefully get some miles on them and can report back with either a review, my first impressions, or just how I like the ride and the feel of the tires, or if I've gotten a flat or something. Look in the comment sections or in the description below. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and feel free to subscribe if you haven't already. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.